we're here to talk a little bit about the annual conference. And I know everybody's getting excited for that in Denver this year. And we wanted to talk a little bit about maybe a strategy that some of the corporate folks might use to engage CIOs there.
The conversations with the corporate members are always an important part of the conference, right? I mean, that's they're there to help bring us solutions to solve the problems we've got, and I think the conference provides a great focused opportunity to be able to go through be able to express my priorities and get right to the conversation around do they have something that can help us move those priorities forward.
Absolutely. And the corporate folks love to hear, about the alignment there. So that's just fantastic to be there at NASCIO together. Now, I know that we've made a pivot on not doing CIO panel sessions, and instead we're going to do four meet and greets, not two. Your thoughts on that, JR?
Yeah, I think that I know that some of the feedback we got was that the panel sessions, while interesting, didn't provide that kind of one-on-one FaceTime that I think the corporate members wanted. And so by going to more meet and greet sessions, that provides additional opportunities. And I think one of the things we can talk about, Mike, here is like, so what are the strategies that corporate members could consider as they come to that meet and greet option, and how to get, I'll say, to maximize the effect in that FaceTime that they're looking for.
Absolutely. I think you're right. I think there's been great feedback about these meet and greet sessions. So, that we have one more. You have two before lunch. You can grab a Red Bull, a little lunch, and then get back to two more after lunch. But some of those strategies, like you're suggesting, I think it's important. And some of this feedback I heard, even internally from other companies, was that they didn't quite understand how to attack it and get the most benefit out of it. And that's maybe what we can talk about here are some of those strategies. Certainly meet beforehand. You mentioned, hey, there's going to be a lot of CIOs there. They're all happy to share what they're working on, what they're looking at going forward, and also alignment with the companies that are there. So make sure that you're touching as many CIOs as possible to get that feedback. And so one of the things that the CIOs are so gracious to do is those CIO virtual panel sessions. And those are recorded. They're up on the NASCIO community website. There's a lot of great information there. I would suggest come prepared, review those, look at them. You probably have some of your initiatives that have changed since then, or do you from those?
I mean, obviously, things are always fluid, Mike, right? There can always be the item that's come up more recently, but I think 100% agree with your recommendation. We have the virtual panels; those are recorded. That's a great resource. NASCIO also collects from the CIOs. Hey, what are your top three priorities? Those are exposed through the NASCIO app. So like take time, look at those as well. And then the last thing I'll say, which I typically say in the if we were doing the CIO panel sessions, is do your homework. Like go out to the website for wherever the IT agency for the state is. Look for that strategic plan. See what's on there, and come with that in hand and ready to go.
Yeah.
With that, I think that's sort of the background work that you can do, so that as you're coming up, I'll say, don't come and ask me, what are your priorities? It's like, I want you to come and say, hey, I saw this as a priority for you, and here's either a question I've got, or here's, where we think we might have some alignment, and recognize that, hey, we're not going to be able to solution the whole thing right there in that conversation. This is about making contact, establishing, the initial relationship, and then, getting, planning for the follow-up.
Absolutely. I talked to some state CIOs after the last mid-year where we kind of did the meet and greet. And they said that they talked to many of the same corporations in the different sessions. And so they would have, people wait in line, you'd get to talk to them, and then you'd get to the next session, and then you talk to that same company and wait, I just talked to you guys. And so maybe my advice is if you have a number of people from the same company going to these meet and greet sessions, maybe strategize a little bit beforehand. What states are you going to? The lines can get somewhat long, and so you want to make sure that you're targeting the right CIOs from session to session. Did you kind of see some of that, or what was some of your feedback that way?
Yeah, no, I think I would just to follow up and say the and right to what you shared is that you know uh, a lot of the corporate members have multiple members of their organization that are going to be there, and so I agree. I would say strategize and go talk to and what are the points you want to get and make the most of it, right? Because you're going to get more coverage, more opportunities, more follow up by I'll say divide and conquer.
Yep, absolutely. Okay. And interestingly, and there's a timer going. So when you're in there talking to the companies, there's that timer going. So, maybe a message to the corporate folks, make sure your conversations are brief, maybe think beforehand, what do I need to say? How briefly can I say it? Because, we're trying to keep that to 2 minutes or less for each company so that we can maximize your time with each of the companies and all of the CIOs in that environment. Did you any thoughts about how to have a better conversation with the CIO?
Yeah, again, I'd say, come to it with if you have a key question, bring that key question. If you have a couple of key points you want to make, like let's get to those. And I agree with you. It's about being respectful, right? We the CIOs, and I also want to emphasize, like I'm not the only one there, right? I brought team members. So it could be if we're stacked multiple deep, like I guarantee you, the CISO for the state's going to be there, and at least probably one other representative that'll be a key team member. So we will try to spread out a bit so that we can handle multiple people and have those conversations. So um, but I'll say it's kind of the show respect for one another. You all want to get that, what we call it, 2 minutes of FaceTime. So make sure that you're being respectful of those that are coming after you, and those before you will then show you that respect.
That's perfect. Yeah. I've noticed that, this is such a valuable session, if you will, these 4 sessions for the corporate community that's there. And everybody's grateful that you're spending time or all the CIOs are spending some time. It is a little hard to navigate sometimes at NASCIO. It can be a little overwhelming if you don't know how to navigate. So these tips are absolutely a must, I think, for folks that are there and maybe haven't done this much. Interestingly, I know when I sign up, it tells me which session I can register for. It presents those options. And I know some people, I just heard feedback that when they had somebody else register them for the event and they weren't sure which session. So there are resources there at the registration desk. When you register, there's actually an email confirmation that everyone receives. I don't think you get that luxury, JR. I think you have to be at all of them.
No,
But
I'll be at all of them. But again,
okay.
I know they try to, NASCIO is going to do the best they can to communicate to the corporate members so they have the awareness. And I'd say, look, if you're not sure, go to that main desk. NASCIO staff is always helpful and they'll get you straightened out.
Well, thank you, JR. These are going to be great tips for the corporate community as they're preparing for the annual conference. We're just excited every time to be there and be part of this larger community and actually make a huge impact. I think, as the corporate community aligns with the CIOs out there, it really does make a national impact and impact for good. So with that, thanks for your time and we'll see you in Denver.